What if the reason you keep starting things isn't laziness, but something deeper in your mind? Take a look around your life for a moment. Maybe there's something unfinished sitting quietly in the corner, a guitar you once felt excited about, a course you started but never completed, a project that slowly faded away. And every time you notice them, a familiar thought appears. Why can't I just stick to one thing? In a world that constantly praises focus and specialization, having too many interests can feel like a weakness. It can make you feel scattered, inconsistent, even behind in life. But what if this isn't a flaw, but a pattern of how your mind actually works? Because psychology suggests something very different. And this is where most people get it wrong. For a long time, success followed a simple rule. Pick one path, commit to it, go as deep as possible. And for a certain kind of world, that worked. But today's world doesn't reward repetition. It rewards adaptability. Things change fast, industries evolve, skills become outdated, and your brain quietly adapts to that reality. That's why you feel drawn to different things. One month you're interested in learning a new skill. Another month you're exploring something completely unrelated. To others, this may look like a lack of focus, but in reality, you're doing something far more powerful. You're collecting perspectives. And this is where things start to change. Most people learn within a single system. They solve familiar problems using familiar tools. But when you explore different areas, your brain starts connecting ideas across completely different domains. And this is where real creativity begins, because the ability to connect unrelated ideas is what creates new thinking. For example, imagine someone who understands both technology and human behavior. They don't just build products, they understand how people feel when using them. Or someone who studies both art and business. They don't just create, they know how to present and sell their ideas. This is not random, this is integration. But here's what most people don't realize. While you're exploring different paths, it often feels like you're not progressing at all. You see others moving forward in one clear direction, getting promotions, becoming experts, building stable identities. And you might feel like you're still figuring things out, but you're not behind in life. You're just not linear. Your path doesn't move in a straight line. It moves in layers. Each interest you explore adds something to the way you think, even if it doesn't seem useful right now. And this is where psychology becomes interesting. Over time, those layers begin to connect, and when they do, they create something unique, a way of thinking that cannot be copied. However, there is one important thing to understand. You don't have to pursue everything at the same time. Trying to master multiple things at once often leads to burnout. Instead, think of your life in phases. There will be times when you focus deeply on one skill, and later, you may shift to something else. That doesn't mean you failed the first thing. It means you completed a phase of learning. And eventually, these phases begin to work together. Skills that once felt unrelated start supporting each other. What looked like chaos was actually exploration. There's also something else happening beneath the surface. When you develop multiple skills, you create flexibility. If one path stops working, you have another option. If one skill becomes less valuable, you can adapt. This makes you more resilient than someone who depends on a single path. So maybe those unfinished projects aren't failures. Maybe they're evidence of exploration. Each one taught you something. Each one shaped how you think. Each one added another layer to your mind. You were never meant to fit into just one box. You were meant to explore, connect, and adapt. And in a world that keeps changing, that might be one of the most valuable abilities you can have. If this made sense to you, you're not confused. You're just learning how your mind actually works. Comment curiosity if you relate, and consider subscribing to the Mind Tracer Lab.